no one remembers what your occupation was. No one remembers what you do for a living. They'll just remember how you made them feel. And we're just here to let them know that they have endless support, whether you come in here and you're nervous to leave your diamond ring or whether you want us to entrust you with your future.
Welcome back to another episode of A Measure of Passion. Today, I am lucky enough to have Lana Sweis with me. She has quite an interesting life story to share with us. We're going to be talking about creating legacies and passing down, beautiful memories and family stories through the generations. And Lana is going to explain to her how she does that in her own way with her jewelry design work, as well as something she just recently launched with her family and is very, very interesting and exciting. And so I'd like to welcome Lana to the podcast. Hi, Lana.
Hi, Jojy. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me today. And like I mentioned to you before we jumped on the podcast, I had spent some time looking around, and I found your beautiful jewelry store, LaBelle Jewelers, as well as the professional network that you had told me about when I was first talking to you. And I want to get into all of that. But can you tell me a little bit of information about how you discovered your love and joy for jewelry design?
Well, it all came back to 2005 when I was a sophomore in college and just looking for part-time work. And, you just navigate the mall, you go up and down and just try to see who is hiring. And at that time, I came across a mom and pop jewelry store, and I started working there at 19 years old and fell in love with the jewelry industry, fell in love with just, you make people happy all day. And from
Right.
there, I finished my undergraduate, and then I actually landed a full-time job with them as managing their stores. They had a couple of stores at that time. And then at 23, I ventured out and purchased one of their locations. And I have
Wow.
been doing that now for May will be 16 years 20 years in the jewelry industry. 20 years in the jewelry industry, but 16 years as a business owner.
And that's amazing. Now, when you were in college, or even prior to that, did you have an artistic flair? Did you know that designing jewelry or anything else was going to be in your future, or did you stumble across that?
I had no idea. I never thought of be a jeweler. And to be honest with you, the only type of creativity I have is just with jewelry. Anything else, I have people, that is not my forte. But when it comes to jewelry and just, creating memorable pieces, it's just something else just like turns on in the brain. And then I can venture out with like endless choices for the
Yes.
clients.
How would you describe your jewelry design work? And I only ask this because I don't have any artistic skills, and so I'm always just amazed when people have the ability to translate, something from their imagination into a concrete piece of work. And so I am really fascinated by how individuals can do that. And so how would you describe your jewelry design? Does it have a certain style, or is it
Well, it all comes
modern?
down to like you really have to be, keep your eyes open, and you have to see what are the latest designs in the jewelry industry. We follow like many different so we are part of an organization called IJO, which is an independent jewelers organization that is a group of, I would say, 1,700 jewelers it could be in the entire United States. And we are lucky enough to be able to go 2 times a year to these jewelry shows. Our next one is in March, next month, in Palm Springs, California. So with these jewelry shows, we go to seminars. So they'll let us know what's the latest trends, what are people buying more. And then you just always keep a lookout. Like, for example, yesterday a client came in. She wants to upgrade her center stone. They're going to be married 30 years. So like from her past knowledge of what she could do, she had her old engagement ring and then currently what she's wearing. And then now this is the third upgrade. So she's like, okay, what can I do with these two stones? Can I just do like add another stone and do a past, present, future ring? And I'm like, past, present, future are always, it's timeless. It's always going to be in style. But this is what's really trending. The two stone designs are really trending, where it's just, two stones and then they're just like parallel to each other or adjacent to each other. There's so many different ways that you can place them. And she's like, this is beautiful. So you just have to keep an eye out of like what people are posting, what's trending. And we have multiple vendors that they send us like, hey, this is what a lot of other jewelry stores are purchasing. So from there, like what other clients are purchasing, what's popular, what's not popular. You just keep up to date, like just like how you read Business Week to see or like the stock market to see what's the better stock right now. You have to see what's trending with jewelry, and then you just remember it when people bring in their gemstones or their diamonds to recreate something, as well as engagement rings. We know right now we could say that 90% is yellow gold. White gold is definitely back like 10 years ago. It was all white gold. Yellow gold has made a comeback, and it's actually been staying for a while. So, and majority is all yellow gold. Today, I just made 2 engagement rings in yellow gold.
I would imagine that since we're, getting close to Valentine's Day when we record this, I mean, Valentine's Day is a big day for, I guess the holiday is too, the Christmas holiday is as well for engagements. How much do you take into consideration the story? Is it popular for the man to come in and shop around, or do you get couples, and if they want a custom designed set, how do you, I guess I'm just curious, like how do you build that vision for that particular couple, or do you get an idea by showing them different settings and seeing what they really are attracted to? Like, what does that process look like?
So back then, it was always a gentleman coming in, picking up something. Now, like, for example, the client that I just had a half an hour ago, he came in, his girlfriend gave him exactly what she wants. Exactly the size center stone, exactly the hidden halo design, solitaire setting. So he came in knowing exactly what she wanted. And what we do is if we do not have that exact piece in stock, the majority of, I would say 90% of our engagement rings are custom because someone will bring in like 2 pictures. Like, I like this part of this ring, this part of this ring. I want to incorporate them together. So with this specific gentleman, what we'll do is because of the dimensions of the stone, we will send him a computer generated design that shows a full rendering of the ring before it is casted and set the stone. So they have endless opportunities to make any adjustments, modifications before they are delivering the final piece. And a lot of time, like even this morning, the couple, they came in together and they bought it together. So I don't know if there's like a surprise factor as much anymore because girls really, really know what they want, which makes our lives so much easier. I guess like the client this morning, she just said, okay, he knows what I want, but I just don't want him. I want nothing to do after this. Like, I don't want to know how long it takes or anything. So I guess the proposal part is the secret. But I would say 80% of couples come in together now to shop.
Yeah.
And make the purchase.
I would imagine so, because I think nowadays people have especially women, I think we have a pretty specific idea what we're looking for. I know that it's disappointing. I can think of a couple people where there was a surprise factor, but you hate for the couple. In my experience, what I've seen is, the young lady thought she was going to get a bigger stone, or, she would have preferred to have a teardrop instead of like a round solitaire. And so I think that in certain ways, gentlemen do set themselves up for a little bit of terror if they don't know what their partner is really looking for, because it is probably one of the biggest events of their life. And Absolutely. Of course, he wants to make it the most beautiful, memorable kind of event for the person that he loves and wants to spend the rest of his life with. And so I'm so curious about your feeling about heirloom and family stories and how that ties into jewelry design. Tell me a little bit more about what does jewelry design mean to you, and how does that connect with the family heirloom component of that?
So what we are known for is using the client's existing diamonds or gold to recreate something. we have had several clients you pass down, have diamonds that are passed down to them. And what we do is we reset them. So they come in with a vision, or if they are clueless at that point, we have multiple options to show them using their specific center stone. And if they have the gold that they would like to use, that like their grandma's or parents' gold that they wanted to use to incorporate that, we do. We melt it and we use the existing gold, existing diamonds, existing gemstones to recreate something. It's jewelry. It comes down to, it's all about the sentimental value. And that's what we're here to keep, and, for them to, just to hold on to. It just makes it more meaningful. So a lot of, a lot of stores, just because of the liability, do not like to do that because, God forbid, the stone cracks. There's no way they can get that again for that client. It's done. But luckily with us, we have phenomenal jewelers, phenomenal engineers. Everything stays on the premises with us. We do not send anything out. We have a whole shop in the back. Their jewelry is guarded 24 hours a day. And we just use the most care and most security when we set their stones, and we create everything for them. And we ensure that what they give us is what they get.
And a question just popped into my mind. What is the oldest piece, like a gemstone or gold setting that you worked on? Because it does, I can completely see, especially after both my parents have passed on. And so when you think about getting a piece from your mom, or like, a gemstone, those things are so precious to you. But I did wonder, like, what is the oldest that you've worked with?
So I can't remember 100% what the oldest, but I can give you an example of just someone who just came in recently. She's, I believe, I'm not sure if she's in her late 40s, early 50s, but her mother is definitely in her 80s. So her mother's really good friend gave her mother a beautiful aquamarine stone. It was like, I could say 7 or 8, or no, probably more than 8 carats.
Oh, wow.
Back then, it wasn't as expensive as like to purchase it as it is now. And she didn't know the value. And when we took it to an appraisal lady, it appraised at over $10,000. So it's nice with these people where they don't know the value of things.
Yeah.
But it definitely had to be at least this ring. And that ring was passed down to her, from her mother. So that stone had to be at least 100 years old. And it was just amazing. Like, now it's in her hands, and she didn't really know the value until she got the appraisal from our gemologist. And now it's heavily insured with her home insurance policy. But it's just like how these diamonds, especially natural diamonds, they do not depreciate in value. You want to buy a 1 carat now, you'll never buy a 1 carat less in 10 years, 15 years. It'll always increase in value. So it's the same with gemstones too. That aquamarine, let's say she probably bought it $100 back 100 years ago. Now it's worth $10,000. So
Yeah.
it's crazy. And back then they didn't have like the faceted diamonds. They had the single cut diamonds. So it's just the way that everything just, transgresses. And from this point to this point, it just amazes you.
And do you feel that there's been, I know that some of my friends who are in their 60s and 70s, when they try to, not jewelry, let me be clear, not jewelry, but if it's sentimental to themselves or in their marriage, and they want to pass on furniture or, paintings or something, I will say that they've been disappointed by the fact that their children don't necessarily want that from their family home because the style has changed. And I think that obviously furniture is very different than jewelry, especially gemstones. But do you believe that that tradition of valuing family heirlooms in the form of jewelry will continue to be just really valued across the generations? Or do you see things changing like they have with maybe pieces from the past from their family home, more on the style of clothes or clothes, furniture, paintings, furnishings, things like that, dishes?
So it all depends on the person. We have clients who have phenomenal pieces that they'll say that the kids want nothing to do with it. not even to recreate it. And then we have parents that their kids are already fighting over who to get what. So it all depends on the individual, honestly. And then the third part is they love their parents' pieces, their mom's pieces or grandma's pieces, but it's nothing they'll wear. So they recreate it. So you have like three different scenarios. So a lot of them are just like, I want nothing to do with this jewelry. I want to take exactly the way it is. I want your jewelry, but I do not like the design. So we get a mix of all of that. We get people come in here with boxes and boxes of jewelry to let us know, like, okay, I want to pass this down to my kids. Can you please let me know what the equal value of each one so I can make sure that each of them have an equal part? So we get a mix of everything. And honestly, from what we've seen, it is way better to do it when the parent is alive.
Yeah,
It becomes a disaster afterwards, unfortunately. So,
absolutely.
yeah. So
Absolutely.
but like rarely do we see that I do want nothing to do with it. But majority, what we see is I love it, but I want to recreate something that is, I'll still have a piece of my mom, my grandma, my aunt with me, but I want to make it my own.
Yes,
And that's what we're
absolutely.
make it their own.
Yes. And I mean, I think that makes perfect sense to all of us, right? Because very few of us really love the same design work that our moms or our grandmothers may have liked. And culture impacts different norms of jewelry as well. And so to recreate it and keep that stone, but make it your own also is like the best of both worlds. And it's great to know
Absolutely.
that there are jewelers that specialize in that kind of work. Because I can imagine that you don't want to trust just anybody with your gemstones because they're so important to your family, but also you want somebody who is sort of can design it and adapt it to your personality and what you like so that there's more meaning for it and that you'll actually wear it. I think one of the
Absolutely.
saddest things is having jewelry, from a loved one that you never wear because it doesn't suit you or you don't like it. And so the lesson really here is to remember your loved one by having it reset in a style that you would be proud to wear and think of your loved one as well. So I
It's all
totally
about the
appreciate that.
sentimental aspect behind it.
Yes. And I want to talk a little bit about sort of the new love that you have, which is the Sweis Professional Network. And this also has a lot to do with legacy and your family and creating an avenue for the younger generations to benefit from a family that has been around for a long time and has really covered quite a gamut of different professions. And I remember how excited you got talking to me about this new venture. So please share with our listeners what you're doing.
So the Sweis Professional Network was founded with a clear vision to organize the many talented individuals in our community across all trades, professions, and industries. No matter how smart you are in today's world, no matter what extracurricular activities you have in college, unfortunately, to land a job, it's all about networking and who you know. So, in order, instead of these young aspiring students in our community, in our family, because the Sweis family, believe it or not, we have at least a couple of thousand just here in Illinois. And we are all related down the family tree somehow. And honestly, through this organization, I was introduced to family I've never seen before, never knew before, and now they are super close to me. So it's just amazing that what this network of connections that has already brought, as well as already helped students land internships and jobs. So through this, we have our mission is to unite and promote fellowship through networking opportunities, the exchange of ideas, and we have numerous events throughout the year. And it's just been amazing. Like we already have close to 300 registered members at the organization, 800 members in our email database, and it just keeps growing and growing. We were declared an official state with us, official organization in the state of Illinois by Alexi Janulius. We were offered a proclamation, and we have just had luckily success after success. And in 1 year we were able to develop create a 501c3, and we had our first scholarship fundraiser in July 2024. And this past January, we awarded 3 students with 3 scholarships of 4,000 each. All this was in 1 year of, creation, which is phenomenal. And all our board members are phenomenal. We're all family. We all love each other. We all work well with each other. We have a CEO of a hospital on our board. We have a top 5% lawyer in our board. We have endless entrepreneurs and doctors and lawyers and engineers. So we're so well diverse, and it's just amazing. And we're just so blessed to be a part of this and serving the younger generation.
And so is I saw the criteria for the scholarship. It required you to be a member of the organization, but not necessarily part of the family. Could you speak
Course.
a little bit more about that?
So we do not believe in exclusivity. We are inclusive to everyone. If someone wants to be a member of this organization, by all means, you just sign up to be a member and you're a member. All we ask is that you make an effort to attend all our meetings, or not all, as many as you can, to all the events. And just, one of the scholarship questions is, how have you made an impact in SPN in this first year? And what do you plan to do with this organization? So it all comes down to whether you're one of the members, the scholarship winners is not a Sweis. She's half Sweis, but we've had a lot of applications who are non-Sweises, and you are more than welcome to apply. Especially a lot of the non-Sweises, have taken full advantage of attending all our professional networking events, our general meetings, our scholarship fundraising. So as long as you're involved and you want to be a part of this organization, no, you do not have to be a Sweis. You just have to be willing to make a difference in this organization.
At one time in my career, I was and I still consider myself one, but I was a business coach and a career coach. And I spent a lot of time, helping young people understand how to navigate their careers. And it is interesting because, there's so much focus on us going to college and getting a degree. And in the last, I would say 5 to 10 years, there's been a lot more emphasis on, getting a good internship, really getting out there and learning, making sure that what you're going to be doing for work is really what you wanted to do, right? Because what you learn in school and the real world can be two different things. And so I think that this platform and this way to get experience and really build relationships with people in your field and understand whether you're in the family or outside of the family, but membership in this group, this professional organization, really allows you to understand how the real world functions, whether you're in school or out of school. I think it's a very, very key part. How did the idea for this professional network how was it born into your family?
So so we do have their board members as well. One of them is a political consultant, and one of them is a very well-known lawyer who is a part of many big boards in the Chicagoland area. So one time my uncle was also the consulate of Jordan, saw these 2 individuals at a networking event. And he's like, I see you guys at all these networking events for other organizations. How about we create something for our own family? And then that he planted the seed, and these 2 individuals took it off, took it and ran, and just developed a board. Developed our first meeting. I still remember the date. It was June 12th, 2023. We all sat in the consulate's office. There were about, I think at that point, there was about probably 16 of us. Or no, actually there was more. There were advisors, like family members, older generation, who have served on the Sweis community or in our church community. So they've had experience serving on the Sweis organizations, but not in the professional network aspect. So we all sat in the consulate office and decided, what can we do? What are our plans for this organization? And from then, we just, idea after idea, we've created bylaws. We've established an official organization in the state of Illinois, a non-for-profit. Now we have 2 non-for-profits in the state of Illinois. The other one is we have the Sweis Professional Network and the Sweis Professional Foundation. Is an arm of the Sweis Professional Network, and we had elections, and we nominated our officers or our board members. We've had 4 general meetings. Our next one is in March 23rd of this year. So it's all because of that idea. He saw them. They're everywhere. These two individuals. They are phenomenal, amazing people, and he's kept seeing them. And he's like, "Hey, let's just do something for our family." And
A-
from that little encounter, this network was developed.
Yeah. And what is your like what is your wish list for this organization? What would you say if you realize your dream for what your family envisioned? What would that look like 20 or 50 years from now? What will
To
the
be honest
impact
with you,
be?
you're just having this conversation today, me and my business partner. Like after like my term, for example, I'm like, I just want people, especially these young students, to know, especially in our community. And now, just like we're venturing out, a lot of non-Swices are members of our organization. Just like, hey, like for example, for the gala, we had 11, 12-year olds that are, I just want them to know that I have this in the back of my pocket, that I am going to be, if I work hard and if I do everything that I'm supposed to, I have this entire network who is going to help me get to that next level. And we do have phenomenal, like for this, we developed a scholarship committee to evaluate all the scholarships because we want it to be as non-biased as possible. We did a two-step process. Like the scholarship committee took our organization to a next level of professionalism. I can speak hours about that. Um, we just, the more money that we allocate, the more money that we're able to give scholarships. Like I'm hoping down the line is that each student receiving 4,000, we can have students receive 20,000, 30,000. The more people know about this network, the more popular it's going to be. And it already has changed so many students' lives within 1 year, from law, from dentistry, from physical therapy. They've landed jobs, they've landed internships, engineering. So it's just, I want the future to know that you're not alone. You have this whole team of successful leaders in their industry willing to help. It's just knowing that whether you come from the Sweis family, where we have millions of cousins, thousands of cousins, or you come from a little family that you do not, unfortunately, do not have a big network or a big family, that you have this network. And we just want this legacy to continue in that aspect. That the more people know about us, the more we grow, the more these aspiring young students will know that they're not alone. They have all of this waiting for them. You just work hard in school. You try your best to get your good grades. And the rest, you have a team. You have a team with you.
And I will say that one of the things that I kept stumbling across when I would do some coaching with college students is that they were hesitant to reach out to their family network. And I would, back in the day, we would have Rolodexes, and now we all have, our contacts on our phones. But I would say, you sort of have to visualize that, your parents or your uncles and aunts Rolodex, right? Of course, they didn't know what that was, but like, their contacts are really your contacts. And so as you're thinking about who can you talk to, because like you said, I mean, it's really less about what you know than who you know, right? And so you have to be able to find those individuals that are valuable and can open doors for you. But some of the students I worked with were really hesitant. Like, it's not even like they thought about nepotism. They just were embarrassed to put it out there, like what they wanted and what their vision was. And we know that in the business world, you have to be able to do your elevator speech or articulate your dream and what you want to do, in that, you need to have like that 10-second speech already ready. And so to help these individuals, and you guys in your family are really doing that, really lifting the kids up and also showing them from a very young age that this is something to embrace. And this is, your family's always got your back. And because you have all these different industries covered, I mean, you really have a lot of, great levers in your family across all different industries. So it's really a fantastic way to think, and has a lot of foresight in terms of, the upcoming generations for your family and also other families that are lucky enough to find out about this organization. And so it's really, I think, in terms of, you might think of, if you look at cornerstone families in the United States, like the Kennedys or the Vanderbilts, I mean, the Sweis family is setting itself to be one of those remarkable families in the United States. And I really, tops off to all of you. You guys are doing a fantastic job and really, really thinking, because for most of us, right, we think about our future generations almost more than we think about the current generation. It's all about our kids and our kids' kids. And so that really falls in line with that beautiful idea. So really congratulations to the the consulate for Jordan, who had this really wonderful idea, and then also to all of you that joined in and said we can make this a reality. It really is an amazing story and ties beautifully with your love of heirlooms and family legacy. And you and I talked a little bit about that. How do you tie that love for family with this kind of a non-for-profit scholarship foundation and everything else? How do you see that being in the same vein for you?
When I consider family, when I think of family, it's not just blood relation to me. It's anyone who holds a special place in my heart. And like I said, with my clients have become part of our family. We've had now, luckily, we've had generations. We've had parents who've been sent their kids to get married. Now these kids have their own kids, and now we're at confirmations and baptisms
Mhm.
and 10-year anniversaries, 20-year anniversaries. So they are part of our family, whether it's our work family or real family or blood family or just net people who have joined the network who have become family. Like me personally, I have become super close to several students in our network that now there's no differentiation for them to me with my own blood relation cousins versus them. I want to help them just the way we want to help them, the same way we are helping our main cousins who are Sweises. As long as we have that love towards everyone and we're here to be servants and we're here to give back because we have been unbelievably blessed in our aspect by our parents. Majority of our parents have migrated here from Jordan. Um, Especially on the board, not a lot of our parents do have college educations. They came here 70s and worked liquor stores, grocery stores to pave the way for us. And all board members are, like I said, extremely successful in all various industries and organizations. And we have given back just the way our parents just like sacrificed everything for us. And now we got into this role, and now our role is to just keep helping the generation after that, whether, like I said, they're blood family or they're just members of the organization or they're members of or just members in our community in Orland Park for our jewelry store. So it's all about just building relationships. My cousin Merva, who was on the board with us, said, it says, no one remembers what your occupation was. No one remembers what you do for a living. They'll just remember how you made them feel. And we're just here to let them know that they have endless support, whether you come in here and you're nervous to leave your diamond ring or whether you want us to entrust you with your future, with your career and your education, just knowing that you have a good support system, a good family behind you.
Well, I will say, Lana, you are a remarkable woman. I mean, not only do you design jewelry and create custom pieces for people and their stories and their families, but you also raise up this generation and the next generation in terms of finding their way and, entrusting their family and their future through this beautiful professional network. I'd love to give you the opportunity to share your information about your jewelry store as well as this network, which is going to make a profound difference in many people's lives. So please share where they can find out the information about both these organizations.
So we welcome all professionals who are been in their lines of trades for 1 year or 50 years to join the network. And if you're successful in your field and you would like to give back to these aspiring young students or just join our community and network with other professionals in your field, please do so by registering to be a member at Sweis, SWEISS, network.org. We do have a tab that says become a member. Just put in your information and follow us on all the social media channels. We're on all of them. We're on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. I think there's another one, but I forgot. And for LaBelle Jewelers, it's LaBelle Jewelers in Orland Park, Illinois. We are also very active on all social media handles, and our website is labellejeweler.com. And anything you need, we are only a phone call away, either way, or an email away for the network. And yeah, it's all great stuff. And the more people that join our network, the more successful that we will be and the more opportunities that these students will have. And if you really have, you know, you really want to give back somehow and you want to help, this network is definitely, we accept everyone and we welcome everyone.
And
And you
for
do not
people,
have to give life.
excuse me, and for people like me that live far away from Orland Park, I mean, is there a way to participate virtually through
Absolutely.
Zoom or something? Because
Mhm.
you talk about being part of the meetings and
Yes.
things like that. Is there a
Yes.
virtual option as well?
Yes. Yeah. So all our general meetings, I do have a Zoom option.
Great.
You are always able to attend any General Assembly meeting via Zoom. Um, so what we do is because we are such a big family, big community, we do not keep the same locations. Like we try to do north, we try to do south, east, whatever, like every single events. Like for example, we just had our event in Lombard, which is midpoint from downtown to the Orland Park area where majority of our members are from. It's all around. Majority of our members are on the south of Chicago, south side, southwest suburbs. And so yeah, but General Assembly meetings and just to be involved, it's once you become a member on our website, you will be getting all the email blast of everything that up to date to all the events, any announcements that we have, as well as if you follow us on social media. And for example, our next General Assembly meeting is March 23rd in Palos Heights, Illinois. But if that is too far, any member can join via Zoom and listen on everything. And then after that, in April, end of April, we are planning to have a big professional networking event where last year we had 25 panelists who met with, we had probably over 100 people at that event just sit and we had a fireside chat with the students, with those professionals. So it was an amazing, successful event. We have a great gallery on our website of all past events. And yeah, and then the jewelry store, same thing. You can contact us via text, via phone call, via email. We are always accessible.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure talking to you and learning all about the way that your love translates into different arenas, from jewelry to networking and developing, this idea of transcending time with whether it's jewelry, whether it's family connections, and setting up the future generations for success. So thank you so much, Lana. I really appreciate your time. I know
Thank you
you're a
for
very busy woman, and so I appreciate the time you dedicated for me today.
Thank you so much for having me.